Three, two, one, and we are live. Frank Gowder, how's it going, man?
It's going, man. How you doing?
Good. I'm sitting here kind of awkwardly. We're sitting in a phone booth in a co-working space because that's what we do. We find a way to get it done.
That's what we do.
Reaching around for my coffee. Got to be super careful. Don't want to spill. Yeah. I'm Nick Werle. This is the Conversations Podcast. We talk about work motivation, work styles. Could think of no better person to talk about this with than Frank Gowder.
I appreciate that.
VP of Sales at AppointmentsIQ. Does a lot of different things. Has an awesome background in data sales. Does some event management, some event planning, some brand ambassador kind of stuff. So just wanted to chop that up with you today. Sound good?
Sounds great. I float around just about as much as I can, to be honest.
Right on, dude.
It's always go, go, go.
Yeah.
And now I'm just getting to the point where it's got to be a little bit more focused.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's got to be one shot, one kill now.
I'm in the same boat, man. Like I do so much during the workday, during the weekend. Like I'm just constantly going. I try to be a machine.
Dude, you're all over it.
And I think I create a lot of value for a lot of people, and I'm proud of that. But I noticed that if I don't focus my time and I don't block my time and I don't have priorities of what comes first, I kind of like am a chicken with my head cut off. I'm always running from the next meeting to the next meeting. End of the day, I'm like, what did I accomplish? And it's hard to really say that my big goals have been, worked on that day because I get caught up in the distractions. So I'm working on that.
Yeah. And I think this is an ideal time for me because I'm in that same space. It's a lot of flowing. During the day, most of the time I can just go in the back and start wherever I start versus now, prioritizing about 6 things a day and then working my way down the list.
Yeah.
And that's something new for me.
Yeah. When you say prioritize, you make a to-do list or?
Yeah, 6 goals, 6 things that are important, and then place them in order of importance and break them down from there. And if you can't get those 6 things done, they wouldn't have gotten done any other way.
Yeah.
But I'm still getting better at that. That's something newer for me. I'm a guy who flows, as you know, from our business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of our clients could need anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's great to work with you kind of on nights and weekends. I know I advise for AppointmentsIQ. I might send some contacts your way, and I know you close those things down like the best of them.
Yeah, now we got to do better.
Yeah,
do better.
yeah. It's so fun to help small businesses. You know what I mean? Like if I meet someone if I'm networking with Microsoft and someone else is at the conference, I'll take their name and information and I'll throw it over to you. And like it's cool to sense that people like yourself that have the background in biz dev, that know what it takes to create value in a sales conversation, are able to find a meaning in talking to you. And you can that's all sales is, bro. It's just like solving a problem, and there's a cost to solving a problem
at the end of the day. Yeah. And even with what we're doing, like between me and you, and it may not be as clear to you, but to me, we've changed sales alone. Just switching something, and it's not anything new, but just being conscious of going outbound to inbound, and doing that for any client. The client I was just speaking with, he's a one-man army, and he doesn't have the bandwidth to do that. So when it comes to us and we have the ability to put all these people in front of him, it's life-changing for a business owner. And a lot of these guys, they've never done it. They're doing referral business, or they're getting money when they can, where they can, versus having these guys come to them.
There's all sorts of quotes out there about business doesn't happen until someone sells something. And so for these entrepreneurs or the owners, the founders that are close to here in Chicago, they might have started their business based on expertise they had in engineering or in machinery, literally making springs or making screws, but they don't know how to sell.
They don't. It's a full process.
And I try to say on anything I'm talking to, like, hey, I don't know about machinery, but I know how to create value in a conversation. You give me 5 minutes,
I can get you to the right person who wants to buy you.
Yes, machinery. Sir. Yes, sir. And luckily, there's so much technology out there with, drip campaigns and click-through reports and analytics. It's all about turning those people that are opening and, forwarding around and like opening multiple times.
Engaging.
Yep. Hop on a call and convert that thing.
Dude, and it's still crazy that it's such a void, man. Every time I think about it. Companies or business owners who talk to us and they're like, yeah, we don't have a system in place for this. It's just ridiculous. Or they spend maybe $75,000 a year for somebody to do this for their company.
Yeah.
And that's all the time.
I get on these calls and, like, I hear you say something like, it's low risk, and it really is for these people. It's like, they can't believe that we're not going to do like a 3-year contract, that we're not going to charge up front, that we're not going to ask to be paid for a bad lead. They're like, what? Like,
it's been saturated. The whole industry's been saturated. Somebody, what they'll do is they'll get somebody in a contract, and once the contract's got, there's not too much value following it. Like recent circumstance, one of the clients, he feels he doesn't talk to anybody unless it's time for them to get paid.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal.
Yeah. I think a lot of companies deal with that. It's like, hey, we have an issue, and you guys just say you got to buy the next package up. It's
to solve it.
But I got an issue with what I'm currently paying for. It's like,
what am I paying for?
Yeah, if you're not providing me the revenue. But like, there's just something to be said for this, just the energy and the positivity of having a new sales lead.
Oh yeah.
Even 1 or 2 of those can completely change the trajectory of that person's month.
Oh yeah.
A closing opportunity, a couple $100 per lead, but if you're going to close a $100,000 sale, you tell me that's not worth that money.
Dude, it's worth it every time.
Yeah, and it's like, we're the ones that has the technology behind it. We're the ones that have the expertise. So it's a cool model. What we're doing with calls to close, AppointmentsIQ, lead generation in general. I mean, I like the fact that you and I are out in the Chicago community making connections, right?
Oh yeah.
I've talked to some folks that are interested in Microsoft, and I get them an opportunity to work there. I've talked to folks that have helped me with the Hyatt or the Motorola account that I manage. Like, I think it's all one thing, bro. It's all one person. There is no work-life balance. It's just me. It's Nick. It's Frank. Like,
those are specific individuals though. Everybody's not like us, where our work, our growth, all of that is me as a person.
Yeah.
People are like, oh yeah, thank God it's Friday. And we do the same. We're like, thank God it's Friday. But me and you are working Saturday still.
Yeah.
Like it's a lifestyle.
I'm opening my phone at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. on weeknights. I'm answering emails.
I've been in the club answering emails.
Yeah. And it's like, if a customer needs my attention and there's a fire, I'm taking that call.
And some people are different. I know people who are like, no, none of my clients have my cell phone number, because they don't want to be bothered.
But I think in the long run, it helps you, because that person remembers you.
It's the difference between people who like what they do and people who don't.
Yeah.
If you don't like what you do, you don't want your client calling you.
You gotta just like dive in.
Yeah.
And whether I was a doctor or a lawyer, or I mean, hell, like a garbage man. It sounds cheesy, but man, I'd be diving in. I literally, how many cans can I get in this route in like an hour?
I've got to get.
You finish my shit like in half the time.
I've got to get a friend of mine. His motto is all the way in.
All the way in.
All the way in. Yeah. And not all the way in. All the way in.
All in, dude.
That's his whole model. Every time I see him, man.
Push the chips in.
And I don't know any other better way. And I think it's like that for us both. So it's pivotal for us to, point it at the right thing.
Yeah. So you and I have gifts. We grind. We can handle a lot at once. We can handle a lot of pressure. But I'm someone that my weaknesses are the details. Sometimes I'll send an invite out and I'll forget to add certain people. Like that's the blocking and tackling. That's 101. That's easy. So for me, it's all about, how do I remember to make sure I make sure the details are taken care of. Just the distraction, the prioritization. I tend to get caught up in the shiny object. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And in some ways, I think the shiny object is more important at that moment, but you got to be able to tamper it down and be like, but my goal in 5 years is this.
Yeah.
Therefore, the shiny object right now, if I have 3 or 4 hours before my flight leaves, I got to be on this. And when I get on that plane, I'm going to take care of this,
Yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I've planned out what I'm going to do while I'm literally in Cancun next week. Like I've ordered me a new earpiece. I'm like, I need to make sure my computer's good for when I'm down there. Because during the day, like I'll have a drink, but I'll have my earpiece on.
Yeah. I'm really quick on the side. If you need a computer, man, I got you.
Let me know.
Apparently the microchip thing is causing problems within every industry, but we're one of those people on the short list. But
nice.
Yeah, man, this is a conversation just about motivation and work. Like I said, Conversations podcast with Nick Werle. One of the things I ask people is just about their background. Don't go into it super deep, but tell me more about your time in, after school when you were playing baseball. What got you into sales? What got you into biz dev?
Gotcha.
Between then and now, what were some challenges you faced, and how are you accomplishing your goals right now?
Gotcha. Well, I mean, growing up, my foundation for everything was athletics. You know, so we didn't have a overwhelming family presence, and so for me, that transfer of energy for me was always sports. You know, I started off playing baseball when I was 6, then I started playing basketball when I was 9, and I even tried football for a year, and I was really good, but you know, it just didn't balance out, didn't make sense. I got hurt in football season, and now it hurt my basketball season and my baseball.
Yeah,
season.
you only need one. You only need one though, but
you only need one, man.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good, man.
I believe you.
Yeah. I think I told you 2 carries, 163 yards. Sounds like a damn fairy tale, but what sports did for me is it set the foundation. You know, all I know is go hard. And I talk to people who've been athletes before, and I've caught them up when they say things like try. You know, like, yeah, well, I'll try it. I'm like, dude, you're an athlete. Try should have been eliminated from your vocab so long ago.
I'm doing it.
And every time I say that to somebody who's been an athlete, it resonates with them so hard. And I see it resonate with them. I'm like, yeah, you forgot. Yeah, there is no try, dude. You've been built with this, you know? And so my analogy with that is, life is your sport now. You know, people don't look at it like that. So that was my biggest thing. And growing up, it was always people telling me a lot of what I couldn't do. Like when young, they told me I couldn't play 3 sports. And so in me, I just had to play 3 sports, you know, and in baseball, they'd be like, what position do you play? What position do you need? You know, and even that transferred over dramatically to my professional career. You know, I do a lot of consulting because that's a way for me to fill any void. You know, it's the same. What position do you play? What do you guys need? Where are you guys at as a company? Where are you at as an individual? What do you need?
What's the gap?
Yep.
Yeah.
The city, you know, I told you all the time. I literally bought this off.
What's the void?
The void.
That's dope. That's really dope.
I bought it off of a friend of mine at Exact Data when I was at the data firm.
You just said, yo, what's your price for that?
Yo, how much do you want for that?
That puts me feeling some type of way.
It resonated so hard with me, and I saw it on somebody. I'm like, he doesn't appreciate this. He doesn't know what it's worth. You know, if there's a void, there's value to give.
Yes.
And so from that aspect, growing up and tailoring a career, that's how things like, you know, you look at marketing and you know that in marketing you need data. That's how I started in the sales industry. You know, I was being really nice, and so I felt like business wise I needed to get an edge and start selling and start, you know, harnessing this male energy is what I call it.
The male energy.
Yep, point A to point B.
I call it the divine masculine.
Oh, the divine masculine.
I think a lot of what's happening right now, if I can just take a tangent here, is that there's a correction against the 80s and the 90s macho Hummer driving CEO bonus, you know, kind of selfish culture. And I think there should be a correction because that was toxic. And there are still some toxic males, but and there's some females that have toxic masculine energy.
Is toxic is masculine energy now.
There is some in psychology. I study a lot of like Jung and Freud and some of those folks. And there's something called the divine masculine, and there's different stages of the masculine traits. The jock in high school that's boastful and braggy and arrogant, that's actually just the protector in a lower state. It's crazy. But that in the evolved state, in the mature state, like I said, is a protector. He's a warrior. He's a king. He helps solve problems. He looks out for his people.
The divine masculine.
That's the divine masculine. And so what you just said, point A to point B, you're solving problems. You're channeling your divine masculine.
And it's so funny because, you know, this is all never ending, you know, and the best route and in terms of looking at something as good as it can get is a feminine energy. It's like he who knows anything knows nothing. So it's
humility.
It's the same process, and people don't understand it. If you get that process and get comfortable with it, it'll never change. You know, I'm always wrong, not necessarily, you know, embodying that energy, but just knowing that there's always a way to do better. At the end of the day. You know, if I could be a master in anything, and the master is also, you know, a student. It gets taught every day, and so it's never ending in that capacity. And I believe that's where I'm at. You know, and also still being firm to it, you know, like me and you putting down a goal for 2022 and killing it, or maybe even for the end of this year. You know, it's like it's a month and a half. Like, what do we want to do? Let's get 3 clients. Let's get 3 new clients going into the year under a 6-month or a year contract. You know, and so where I'm at is definitely ironically the same place you're at, and it's just being more directed, knocking down goals daily. And I'm not sure who said it. It might have been Jim Rohn, where he's like, I create a life full of lists, you know, daily lists, minute lists, monthly lists, you know. And so that's my phase right now, and just closing out Q4 strong, man.
I love it.
Really strong.
I think writing it down, or just even just putting it in your mental, like, this is what I want to do, having an intention, having a point. It's almost like, and again, with the psychology stuff, humans are meant to aim towards something. We're really good at throwing objects, physical objects, toward a goal. You know, think about baseball, think about basketball. You as an athlete, you mastered that specific thing. And like, that's the same thing with your mental, with your work motivation. I'm going to try to close 3 clients between now and December 31st, not January 31st, not November 31st, December. And not 4, you know, let's not make it too high of a goal, too low. We're going to get 3. And until I have 3, I'm not going to stop.
And see, me and you haven't even gotten to this point, but I'm usually the type that if we shoot for 3, let's put together a process that's built for like 12. You know, meaning, you know, if we break it down, the conversion rate is this every week.
That's looking at your data and understanding if my conversion rate so far has been 30.
They say shoot for the stars and land on the moon.
It's all cheesy stuff. Like,
it's cheesy, but it's real.
It all works, man.
It's very real.
It's got taking your data and having it work for you. So
I used to blow people's mind with everybody wants to make money. Nobody Googles how to make $1 billion. And at one point in time, they literally gave you steps, bro. They gave you steps like 1 through 8 on how to become a billionaire.
But people don't want to say no.
What do you think the search results are on that? Who's looking that up every month? Nobody is, but it's so far in the background, and it's not anything we're conscious of. That's like you, when you told me, you're like, bro, what are you doing? You know, you can go get 100K out here. And I'm like, I could, but I never even you know, and that's just a simple.
Sometimes you just need a change in perspective. You know what I mean? Like,
and I pride myself on that. So when you gave it, I'm like, dude, nice.
I do the best I can with that. You know, I try to just help people with a new perspective. My job isn't to tell you what to do, but it's like, yo, this is here chilling if you want it.
Here's the information. Here's what's going on.
Yeah, man. Nice. Cool. So just last thing on exact data, marketers need data, sales needs data. Maybe talk just 2 or 3 minutes more about how, let's say there's someone listening who works in the data industry or as a salesperson at a full-time gig, but they want to get closer to what you and I are doing, which I would say is creating value in multiple different life situations, right? How do they get to where you are now?
Definitely revolving around the client. Most people who are in sales, they just want to sell you something. You know, it's like, buy this product, buy this, not necessarily what this can do for you, you know? And so that's what happened with me. Instead of just selling clients all the time, you know, these guys getting a product from me, it was always about, okay, well, what are you guys doing with this product? You know, making sure it works, because we have our guarantees on our data. So that's not going to change. But everybody would say the same thing. If this works, I'll be back. And it was always the same on my end, like, well, the data works. I can't base my business with you off of what you guys may or may not do with the data. You know, and it becomes a numbers game, but that's just a piece of the product. Like what me and you do now, we utilize the data for the client.
Data is just unless it's actionable, unless it's accurate, it's just X's and O's. It's just zeros and ones.
That's all it is.
You need to be able to activate it for you. So I know what you're saying about that.
So that was the biggest difference. And what I found is that caring for my clients about them in that capacity was of the most value. You know, I always tell people, you know, oh, well, you're stuck with me now. You know, meaning that if we get on this trail and I do this job right, it'll never change. We'll only increase and do better. You know, and I'm a builder, so I like to build within, and that's what the biggest difference was with me working for a specific corporation. I'm not able to do that. A friend of mine called me this morning. She's like, I want a list of Black-owned businesses, and they want to charge her $27,000 for this list nationwide. 97,000 records, but they want to charge her $27K for it, 30 cents a contact.
Either someone's buying it for that much,
someone is,
or they're off their rocker.
Oh yeah, I've worked at this company where I've seen $30,000 deals come from our website.
And that's something else. Like, I know back to AppointmentsIQ, they're like, you guys aren't just sending this list. I'm like, no, like, we're gonna do the work with the list. We're gonna activate the data for you.
we have the list, but we got headhunters for you, you know?
Yeah. It's a no-brainer, but man, that's cool. But I know what you said about corporations. They kind of do want you to be in your own lane. I'm lucky to work at one that wants us to be individuals, that wants us to grind in the way that we grind individually.
That's beautiful.
And with empathy. They're empathetic with us. So, but I know that some companies, they want their people to be in that seat.
Yeah.
And I think that the things are disrupted in a really good way right now. I'm sitting in this office right now. I'm taking my lunch break and I'm doing this, right? But like, if I was at a big office, maybe it's, hey, you can't be doing this. It's like, I think that every industry has to, based on the dictation of people like us, we're not going to sit in that seat. They have to modernize their employee experience.
Yeah, and it's like that all the way around, you know, like that's like the classroom. It's not built for you to, you know, grow in a certain space. And even though it's best for companies aren't empowering and growing their own employees. You know, that's what's best.
They don't want to invest in their employees.
No, they're not educating and training them inside the company. They want to grab you as you're ready and bring you in. Or if you're not doing good, you gotta go.
Most salespeople want to focus on that product, sell the product. The company wants to put that person in the seat to do that job. If you just invest in the human, so much more can come into fruition with that. It's the same thing the other way around. They're trying to sell the person on doing that job, and that's it. You got to focus on the bigger picture.
Versus the culture. This is what we're about.
I got a ping pong table. That's great.
Right.
That's what I care. No, I don't. I want something that I can work toward. I want a company I can grow with.
That's my biggest conversation.
I don't care about your ping pong table or your draft beer.
The last client I was just talking to upstairs. He needs somebody who's down to grow and build. He's like, I need a builder.
Partner with you. Partner. This is not a sales. This is not a sale. This is a partnership.
I'll never work for you. I'll work with you. That's just where I'm at now, you know. And I've even bit my tongue for, you know, close friends, as you know. You know, bit my tongue for way too long, but that's what I do. You know, I overdo things to the point where I know I've exerted 100%, and now it's time to restore balance.
Well, I overheard that client talk about like semi trucks and RVs, like, and you're sitting there just nodding your head, like fully listening. And that is what's missing. It's like, listen and like be a human across the table, instead of, I got this series of services. This is our schedule. This is how we get paid. This is net 30. That's all the brass tacks.
Actually, he was just like, he was referring to how payment would go, and I kept taking him off that. I'm like, dude, don't even worry about that. Because at the end of the day, if it's about the client, you'll work with what you have, what they have to work with, versus like, being stuck on a price point.
It's like, let's figure out how to work together.
I'm not telling you, hey, dude, I need a couple grand up front every month. I'm not telling you that. You know, if you got 3, I'll tell you how we can do that. You know, if you got $500, I'll tell you what can happen. But it's really about it being for them and not being for me. And that on one side was my downfall during my 20s. You know, I was being so selfless that I wasn't looking out for me. But it grew these relationships with these clients so massively, man. And now I'm dealing with the accountability of having so much and aligning.
Good for you.
Look, which is why I'm glad I got a buddy like you.
It's a cool relationship, man. And not everyone's made similar. It's like, I don't think you really teach what we do, the motivation behind it. It's about activating that inside people that are already motivated. And people that aren't, I think they're almost like they're on the wrong path. There's a fork and they're on the one end of the fork, and there's another path on the other end of the fork where they might be more motivated.
And I think everybody has it in them. Everybody has it in them. It's just why, you know, or the struggles you went through and why you went through them. You know, everything that I've gone through for me converts directly to gas.
I like that.
Like, man, put it in the tank, man.
All
the hard shit you go through. You know, that's what it's worth. And there's people out here who don't know. Don't know that all your trials and tribulations. You know, I found that out really early. Convert that into gas, man. It's got to. People used to ask me, "Are you okay?" And it was like, "Gotta be." What do you mean? You know, it still throws me off sometimes.
There's something to be said for emotion. I mean, kind of spending 2 or 3 minutes more here before we start wrapping up. You know, I know that you might have lost a family member recently, and like, I'm curious how that progress was for you from that grieving stage to getting your head back on straight to now you're grinding again. Like, how did you use that as fire?
I mean, to be honest, I'm still dealing with it. That was how many months ago? That was back in May, and we're in November. You know, so until recently, I wasn't even acknowledging it, and I was working through it. So I was replacing a lot of that hurt, that passion with work ethic, and I was staying focused. And every once in a while, and it's still going to be something that I had to face head on, but from everything that happened, it was like I don't have time to focus on that. And I take the input of losing my mother and being like, well, you know what she'd say to you right now. Something like that.
It hits you, man.
Period. And it's supposed to, and it's not that, and it's not that varies. The only thing that changes is having the power over how it hits you and what you do with it. So I'm still dealing with it, for sure.
I'm with you, bro. I tend to be the same way, where if I get sad or something happens, I just throw myself into my work. I went through a personal breakup recently, and I started just like lifting, and like I'm big now, like I'm looking good, but I realized that it's like I'm throwing myself into this new person. So there's benefits there, but it's like, am I sitting with that sadness?
Right.
Am I really giving it the time of day to get through it, instead of just running from it through my workouts?
That route of curiosity, is what you may overlook as the real goal. That's the process of questioning yourself and asking yourself.
It's the journey.
Dude, not just the journey, that's the goal. I just got goosebumps.
I'm with you, bro.
Like that's the goal, but that's a feminine energy.
So like looking inward instead. Like,
you can't be hurt.
Point A to point B is outward. That's divine masculine. Inward is feminine. That humility to ask the question, to sit with that sadness, to sit with your feelings. Not a lot of men are like ready to even talk about that, let alone on a podcast.
Or capable, or even know that it exists. A while back, I would tell people, I'm like, men act like there's not a female energy. You're giving 100% to this masculine energy, and you're missing a whole another 50%. Which is all that you have to give in a certain capacity.
I kind of sense that the world is being contorted, where instead of replacing that toxic masculinity with a more healthy femininity, it's throwing different types of toxic masculinity onto it, where it's like this judgment and this hostility toward what used to be, rather than like an empathy or like an understanding of what made people want to be that boastful.
It's on purpose. It's systematic. And until you're able to see it, you won't even see the gold out of it. It's like control chaos. Keep you looking this way. It's magician's trick. Look this way, take them this way. While you're looking here, I'm doing this over here. And that's an easy way to control and handle things.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yep, smoke and mirrors.
Man, I know what you're saying. I think it all sorted itself out. I think we're in for another correction against what we're doing right now. So I think everyone would agree, people on both sides of the political spectrum, not even politics, just the emotional spectrum, would agree that things are kind of messed up right now, that the world is hurting right now.
And you can feel it.
People are divided, bro. Like, no one wants to hear the other side. No one wants to even talk about it. They're just
because they don't want us to be unified.
There's something going on up there, man.
Dude, it's a power when people come together.
There's something going on up there,
and they make sure to keep that fine line.
You want to keep them divided.
That's like during all the riots. Like, you saw some people who were just inciting the riot, like not a part of the movement, but just inciting the riot. It makes you wonder.
Not even there for any kind of progression for racial equality. More just trying to create chaos.
Doing my part to maintain the balance. Type deal, man.
With me, I just try my best to actually help, actually be an ally physically. Am I truly taking my hand and helping people that have been underrepresented? I'm not talking about it. I'm doing it.
That's a huge
I'm
difference.
doing it. Like, it's not about what my social media shit looks like. It's not about my black square that I didn't post that shit. I started out not racist. My goal is to help people that might need help. My goal isn't to show people that I'm not something that I know I'm not.
And even that, and the irony there, like, come on, we're all part of the human race. That is the funniest thing that nobody talks about. Racism. Like, we're all a part of the human race.
It could be that.
How does it even exist?
It could be someone. It could be someone that's younger. There's ageism. There's sexism.
All of the
there's
above.
People that are handicapped that might not have it. Like, it's not about trying to help a specific person and underrepresentation. It's like, hell, I'll help a white middle-aged straight guy.
Right.
It's about helping everyone. Be a person.
Race.
It's not about me trying to play Jenga with people's like identities. This person is here. No, I don't think that far into it.
And see, my whole thing was always about becoming the person that I know I have to be that kind of change.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be able to help something, take care of yourself.
Yourself, bro.
Go make those moves.
But people don't want to hear that either, man. They want to feel like, you know, oh, it's all about this unless you have a clean home, you can't help others clean their home. Yeah. You feel me?
Yeah. And the real friends will give you what you need, not what you want.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the key, man.
If you give people what they want, they're not learning how to fish for themselves.
Yeah. Look, feed you for one day.
Yeah. So, man, this is getting deep. I love it, dude.
It's getting so deep.
Yeah. Cool, man. So, let's close it up in like 5 minutes. I ask everyone a question, and a lot of times I just ask it off the dome. Like, it'll be like, would you rather, or do you prefer this over that? You know, sometimes it's like a motivational one.
Gotcha.
With you, like, I think one of the things that we're both in right now is this like idea of building lists. Let's say that you start your list. Do you focus on the biggest item first or the quickest, smallest item first?
I think most of the time it's time frame, whichever one is overdue. You know, whichever one I've had on my list.
The urgency.
Yeah, the urgency.
Yeah, get it done.
And then it comes out to the quality of the move. You know, I'm a big fan of power moves. Yeah. So sometimes I may be stagnant because I'm a power move only guy.
Yeah,
I want one move it, and this is a passive and residual move for the next 6-12 months.
Yeah,
comes in every month. You know, so that's usually has broken down for me.
Yeah,
urgency and quality.
I try to do things that are big if I can do it well.
Nice.
If I can't, like you said, if you can't do the big thing well, wait for the bigger time block where you can power move it. Yeah. You know, and
I've got a bunch of those.
And for that reason, things might go untouched for a week.
Yeah. I'm like that with you know, I'm a domain holder. I'm like that with newmusicartist.com.
Yeah.
Just hold it, sit, talk to a couple sponsors here and there.
What's the name of the domain?
Newmusicartist.com.
Yeah. How is that not taken yet?
I have no idea, because it was waiting for me.
Yeah.
It was waiting for me. That's a match made in heaven. I don't know, but what I do know is how that needs to look, how that needs to go.
So Frank's been hoarding domains. He has a couple ones that are just, I don't know how he got these things. It's like he's sitting on gold. That's one. What's another one? One or two other ones.
InviteOnlyNetwork.com. That's a random one.
That's a good one though.
Yeah,
I want that exclusivity.
Yeah, I bought HennessyNight.com.
Okay.
Very, very random. I have
at that point they might want to buy that from you.
They might want to buy it, or they might want to, you know, sponsor me to travel around, and you can throw some parties for Hennessy. You know. What's another one I have? Let's see. I have Wolf of WallStreetClub.com.
Really?
Yeah. Very random.
And on these, there's an immediate association. I feel.
Yeah.
I can sense the story.
I can sense
the brand.
Yeah.
It's marketing. And I know exactly what happens at the Wolf of Wall Street Club.
Duh.
Right? All you gotta do is like upstart that thing. Yeah. Turn it on like a light switch.
I have a concept where I'm just gonna start throwing these on some big billboards.
Yeah, and just
let the traffic run in.
Let the traffic come.
And let it dictate that.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're doing 3 things at once, and you're buying domains. I'm sitting here doing a podcast. I got a 1 p.m. call. I'm gonna hop off on that thing, and like, I can do it all because I want to. I don't want to be one track minded.
Yeah.
I want to be consistently growing, building my brand, adding value to other people.
And ironically, that's already what you're doing.
Just by doing it.
Yeah. It's not even something that you wanted.
It's not like I haven't.
You're moving through it.
I'm already doing it.
Yeah, man.
It's like in trying. We talked about that word, trying.
Yeah.
More like in doing it, you've already reached your destination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Putting it in concrete and then just moving through it.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think me or you never question our result. You know, we don't question our success. We apply pressure with the when and the how.
Yeah.
But it's unconscious for a lot of people, and a lot of people will never have been there with themselves mentally, where, you know, they're able to just put their mind on a goal and then just move through without questioning if that goal is going to be achieved. You know, so I'm trying to do better with that and harness that. You know, now I'm like,
I feel you. Yeah.
$1 million. When and how.
It's like, if you look at it like that, you're just on the 3rd step. There's 10 steps, but you've already got it because you know what that 10th step is. So.
And then they start to give their own outline, the same way you can picture Wolf of WallStreetClub.com. It doesn't take too much effort. Oh, what does that look like? I bet it would look like this.
Yeah.
What could we do on there? We do a lot of hedge fund events. Let's do some hedge fund parties.
Dude, let's do it. We could start that business tomorrow, and it could be cash positive in a week.
I know. That's the scary part.
Cool, man. Really appreciate you coming on. Amazing conversation. Got deep there for a second. one thing that kept coming up with these cheesy childhood like quotes, but I think there's a reason for that stuff, man. Like
real, man.
It's like when you really look at life in that way, where you see stories, you see conflict, you see resolution, there's some cool stuff that can happen. So appreciate you chopping up with me.
I appreciate you having me. This is my first podcast.
For real? Well, let's get you on some more.
Look, it's the right way.
All right, man. All right, man. All right, have a good rest of the day.
You too.
All right, y'all. See you soon. Peace.